right, well, welcome everybody to day 2 of the Analytics Forum 2023. I'm Michael O'Connell, Chief Analytics Officer at Spotfire, and I'm joined by Patty Lambert, the Head of Marketing. Hey, Patty, wasn't that just an incredible day 1 yesterday?
Absolutely. Yesterday was truly a stellar day. It was so inspiring to hear from so many of our customers about how they're using Spotfire to solve some of their industry's most complex problems. I mean, on the healthcare front, we heard from Moderna about how they use digitization and analytics to enable innovation at scale. And UHS, how they shared, they're using Spotfire technologies to improve how hospitals operate. Truly understanding what the next day's potential patients might be. Truly inspiring. And of course, S&P Global, I mean, they have extended Spotfire capabilities to help guide energy companies in critical decision-making processes in truly unconventional ways. Really exciting stuff. And of course, Entertel, and then of course, the Flemish government, the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries, how they provide farmers with data and insights to really support the success of their agribusinesses. It's truly amazing. Our customers are doing amazing things.
Those pharma and life science capabilities, and then the energy sector were real highlights yesterday, and just terrific. And Patty, what do we have up here for day 2?
Oh, well, day 2, of course, we have more great customers. We have Hess, we have ASML, we have Enel, Rightway. I mean, just really showing how in lots of different sectors, our customers are really successful in solving complex problems. And of course, from a product standpoint, I mean, yesterday we had a lot around actions and geoanalytics and, AI apps, but today we're going to be diving a little bit more into time series analytics, sustainability, what's trending in natural language processing and large language models, plus a lot more. I mean, truly today, I don't know if I was so excited after all the great sessions yesterday, but today I'm truly pumped up about what's to come.
Absolutely. I'm especially looking forward to the new advances in Spotfire Copilot and large language models. And Patty, we've also got a session today, a Dr. Spotfire session, the keynote for the theme of the conference, Analytics for Insights and Action. And we've been revamping our Spotfire, Dr. Spotfire program. I'm pretty happy about these new sessions and videos we've got on the YouTube site, featuring the Spotfire apps and various techniques like cascading drop downs and so on. And that YouTube channel is just a go-to, but also these live sessions, the first Monday of the month, where we now have 4 or 5 folks regularly putting out amazing content through those live sessions monthly. And then Patty, these weekly tips. I know that folks love the regularity that we have with this program.
Absolutely. I mean, it really addresses all different user levels, from beginners to advanced, really getting people to get the most out of their use of Spotfire. And it's very exciting with, the revamp of this program, really bringing more people into the program and really expanding the reach so that more people can get what they need, more users can really get more out of the program. So very exciting. Plus, I do like the new logo too. I
do like that little owl. That's pretty cool. But whether you're a live session monthly or YouTube whenever you want, or the quick tip videos weekly, we're pretty pumped about the new program. As Matteo was saying, today we've got trends in large language models. We've got Enel coming up on the main stage, as well as the breakout. We've got ASML speaking. We've got Rightway in the sales and marketing, consumer goods and retail area, energy sector. We've got everything going on today with customers. And I wanted to give also another shout out to our incredible partner community. So with that, Patty, let's turn it over to our colleague Heleen Snelting, who's going to introduce today's customer keynote with Matteo Masotti from Enel.
Sounds great. Looking forward to it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Heleen Snelting, Director Data Science at Spotfire. And the customer keynote speaker with me today is Matteo Masotti from Enel Corporation.
Hello, I am Matteo Masotti, head of the Data Competence Center of Global Trading and Commodity Management at Enel. Hi, Heleen. Thanks for having me at TAF 23. I'm happy and excited to be part of this event.
Welcome, Matteo. So Enel is a multinational manufacturer and distributor of energy and gas with an important market position in renewables. So to start our conversation, would you mind giving the audience a bit of an insight into your role at Enel and especially working in trading and energy management?
Okay, then I will start by briefly introducing Enel and the major responsibilities related to my role. As you may already know, Enel is an Italian multinational manufacturer and distributor of electricity and gas. And thanks to a sustainable and fully integrated business model along the value chain, Enel holds a leadership position in the energy sector with approximately 66,000 people and presence in more than 30 countries. Today, Enel is the leading private operator in the world in renewables with a managed capacity of almost 60 gigawatt worldwide. In terms of networks, we are the largest privately owned electricity distribution company in the world with almost 73 million end users. The high level of digitization of our networks demonstrated, for example, by the 45 million smart meters installed, allows us to increase their resilience and quality of service. We also manage the largest retail customer base in the electricity sector with almost 67 million power customers, and we support their further electrification through innovative services such as flexibility management through demand response and electric mobility. Furthermore, Enel is accelerating its transformation into a true digital company thanks to the platform operating models that we have adopted in all lines of business. As head of Data Competence Center of Global Trading and Commodity Management, responsibilities include supervising data ingestion from several sources, both internal, I mean from companies' legacy systems, and from external info providers, governing those data in terms of completeness, quality, presence, timing, to name a few, and providing to the traders and the energy managers different kinds of data products, such as dashboards and reports that we call visual descriptive analytics, and also AI and optimization models in order to support their business decisions. For instance, we are involved together with products owner in developing data products to analyze and anticipate the behavior of the competitors, to forecast the request from the TSO, the transmission system operator, but to enhance our commodity price forecast models with news sentiment analysis.
Thank you for that introduction, Matteo. You mentioned the renewable capacity, which, as I read in Enel's 2022 sustainability report, is now 63.3% of the entire Enel generation capacity worldwide. And looking at our customers at Spotfire, we see transitions happening in various industries, transport with electric vehicles, agriculture with satellite crop management, or construction with a focus on energy efficiencies and a circular economy. And all of these, they happen with significant changes in supply chain, energy usage, and often are enabled by disruptive innovations. Matteo, can you tell us about what you are seeing in the energy transition, going from commodities to clean power across Europe, and how Enel is participating in this movement?
The energy transition is moving forward on two fronts. On the one hand, the development of renewables and technological hybridization. On the other, the decarbonization process. So the energy transition is a process already underway and is now unstoppable. So we at Enel are at the forefront in driving the change towards a sustainable energy system in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal, which is at the heart of our strategy. So this is an ambitious goal that we aim to achieve by pursuing a virtuous journey along two pathways. So underpinning the entire process is the growth in our production from renewable sources, which has already overtaken production from fossil fuels. So today, with around 51 gigawatts of installed renewable capacity, we are the world's leading private group in the field of renewable energies, and we plan to reach around 77 gigawatts by 2024. At the same time, we are progressively reducing the contribution from coal until it's completely eliminated. So the closure of all coal-fired plants, which was originally planned for 2030, will now be completed ahead of schedule in 2027. So we are also transforming plants that use other technologies into innovative, modern and efficient energy centers using renewable sources and batteries for energy storage.
Sounds like a really exciting time with so much change happening in all aspects of operations and business. How do these changes affect energy and commodity management, and how do you support the change with data and analytics?
So from the global energy and commodity management, the implications of energy transition are particularly crucial, affecting supply and demand alongside pricing and financing. So the drive to net zero presents a singular opportunity for some and a threat to survival for others. For example, as pressure mounts to increase the use of renewable sources to reduce emissions from fossil fuel, such as oil and coal, demand for metals needed to electrify the economy is spiking. So more broadly, the effects of climate change, from rising temperature and sea level to more volatile weather such as droughts, storms, and fires, impact commodities and the supply chain, affecting the availability and accessibility of raw materials. As a data competence center, we are committed to provide data products to empower our traders and energy managers to understand the interlinked commodity and energy markets and become key participants at the heart of the global energy transition. Whether they are looking at macro global trends and business drivers or specific regional impacts and implications, our aim is to provide them with data, intelligence, and insights to help them make sense of changing markets.
Must be gratifying to be able to contribute to these sustainability goals. I know you also mentioned or used the term digital sustainability. Can you explain to us what you mean by digital sustainability and why it is important for all stakeholders?
At Enel, we are keen on empowering sustainable progress for all. To move rapidly towards a decarbonized and electrified society, we integrated sustainability into every part of our business. And by doing so, we have proven that we can simultaneously create economic, social, and environmental value for all our stakeholders. So obviously, this change of approach has also affected the digital sector. Indeed, digital is very quickly becoming the driving force behind this transformation. It's no coincidence that we are now talking about twin transition to refer to digital and energy transformation. So digital tools allows us to use fewer resources to carry out an activity with an undeniable benefit. So just think of the amount of travel avoided thanks to video conferencing, or the waste that can be avoided using digital analysis tools.
Yes, we definitely see the benefits of digital tools, including for TAF23. What would you say are some of the technologies that are enabling Enel's ambitions to become a reality?
Well, already in 2016, we adopted a digital transformation strategy by operating on some key factors, such as the construction of platforms to standardize infrastructures and processes, completely cloud operating models, and infrastructure with a cybersecurity by design approach. All this to improve the efficiency of our asset, improve the user experience of our customers and our people. So over the years, we have added other important factors such as agile methodology for CI/CD and digital impact for enhancement of our services, up to an operational model, but also an architectural platform, which is the revolution that is taking place. The role of data is always central, and therefore, over time, we have seen the transition from a data-informed model, I make my decisions and confirm them with the data, to a data-driven model, driven by data itself.
Matteo, your answer actually brings me to the topic of Spotfire. Enel has a significant deployment of Spotfire worldwide. I understand there are more than 20,000 users. Can you tell the audience a bit more about the deployment of Spotfire at Enel?
Sure. Spotfire has reached thousands of users at Enel. The tool is quite consolidated in global business line as global power generation, grid, and of course, global energy and commodity management. Enhancing the focus on the latter, we are making heavy use of the tool, which is globally adopted in all the countries where we operate in order to standardize and to be more effective on the time to market release of the data products. I was saying Spotfire covers almost every business process in global energy and commodity management. To name a few, we monitor national and international gas, power, and commodities fundamentals. For instance, demand, stocks, and flows globally. We perform portfolio analysis, profit and loss and value at risk in various countries, together with sourcing analysis in terms of storage, actual demand, LNG, and natural gas flows, fuel imports and export by country versus technical capacity and demand forecast. As I mentioned before, there is a wide use of Spotfire within the company. If you are interested in having more details about this, an Enel breakout session will be held soon by Claudio Lagrassa and Andrea Pica on remote predictive diagnostic, a monitoring and analysis platform to prevent potential gas turbine failure in energy power plants worldwide. With the Spotfire, they monitor the health status of 56 gas turbines globally, analyzing, for example, occurrences of hot or cold spots on the turbines, resulting in increased availability and optimized operation and maintenance costs.
Yeah, this tech session is definitely impressive, and I recommend that you look at it on the agenda for TAF 23. It covers a lot of use cases and business benefits. So look for the title, which is also the title of this slide: Enel Green Power and Thermal Generation: Remote Predictive Diagnostic Innovations. So, Matteo, I now would like to ask you a question that is data science related. I noticed in your career, you actually have worked at Enel as a data scientist for many years. So I was curious if you have any specific aspects from the data science lifecycle that you learned in that role that you're applying in your current role.
Yes, as a former data scientist, there are several things about the data science lifecycle that I learned and still apply in my current role as the head of the Data Competence Center. So as a data scientist, for instance, I learned the importance of formulating a problem correctly before diving into the data. In my current role, I ensure that the problem is well defined and aligned with the business objectives before starting any data-related project. I also oversee the data collection process and ensure that the data is of high quality and meets the requirements of the project. Again, as a data scientist, I learned the importance of evaluating the model's performance and ensuring that the results are interpretable and actionable. In my current role, I oversee the evaluation process and ensure that the results are communicated effectively to the stakeholders. Overall, my experience as a data scientist has helped me to understand the data science life cycle, and I apply this knowledge in my current role to ensure that data-related projects are executed efficiently and effectively. For instance, most of the edging optimization data products rely on info-provided data that by nature can change over time. In this case, it's particularly important to set up a solid data quality check pipeline ahead of the model inference phase in order to avoid any kind of issue in terms of model performance.
Thanks for this data science perspective. In the Spotfire team, we also see that every aspect of the data science lifecycle is important, and the technology really needs to enable seamless handoffs from one expert to the other, one department to the other, and make sure that collaboration is really functional. So, and of course, you're talking about a well-defined problem. That's the starting point. You really need to get that. So, Matteo, you've told us about Enel's ambitions in energy transition and your role in implementing and facilitating digital sustainability, and also Spotfire's important role in this. So as a final question for today, I'd like to ask you, what do you see to be the next big digital game changer for energy utilities?
So I think that like the evolution of generative AI, low-code platforms and quantum computing have the potential to significantly impact utility processes and profits in several ways. So starting with generative AI that can be used to create new designs and models that improve efficiency and reduce costs. For example, generative design can be used to create optimized designs for wind turbines, which can result in improved performance and reduced costs. Generative AI can also be used to develop predictive maintenance models that can help utilities companies to identify potential issues, reducing downtime and maintenance costs. Regarding low-code platform, they can enable utilities company to develop and deploy new applications and services more quickly and efficiently. This can lead to faster innovation and increased agility, which can help utilities companies to adapt to changing market conditions and customer needs more effectively. Finally, quantum computing has the potential to revolutionize the energy industry by enabling faster and more accurate simulations of complex systems such as power grids. This can help utilities to optimize their systems and reduce energy waste. However, the adoption of this technology also comes with some challenges, such as the need for specialized skill and expertise, the potential for bias in AI algorithms, and the ethical implication of using these technologies. Therefore, it's important for utilities company to approach these technologies with caution and carefully evaluate their potential impact on their processes and profits.
Thank you very much, Matteo, for sharing these insights with us. You will actually find these topics of generative AI and low-code platforms on the TAF 23 agenda. And we're excited to share some of our developments in this area, including methods to start addressing these ethical and bias concerns that you mentioned. And I personally also look forward to the Enel breakout session with Claudio Lagrassa and Andrea Pica on the Remote Predictive Diagnostics Center. And I'd like to wish you, Matteo, and Enel success with your digital sustainability goals. And for now, a great time at TAF 23. And next up will be Niklas Amberntsson for a tour of what's new and next with Spotfire.
So I'm going to give you a quick preview on a new feature in Spotfire called Spotfire Actions. What are actions? So actions help you act on insights faster from within Spotfire. So with just a click of a button, you have access to over 200 commercially supported integrations, along with over 1,800 community integrations at your fingertips. So it's just with that click of a button that you can initiate an external action to go one step forward. Basically things like sending a Slack message, uploading to a database, things like that. So with Spotfire Actions, endless possibilities await. So essentially across all different sorts of vertical use cases, you could find yourself utilizing the Spotfire action to be able to find that point of insight and go one step deeper into connecting to these external systems. So in this case, we can do things like sending an email or a Slack message about when a certain anomaly occurred. We can upload certain policies to investigate into a Postgres database. And we can also send snapshots of Spotfire pages into a shared Google Drive folder. And just as an example of this, what we're looking at is a Spotfire dashboard that's analyzing certain players that are to be drafted in the upcoming NBA draft. And it's with this where we can see the strengths and weaknesses of a player. And when we find that point of insight where we say, hey, I like this about a player, we can use Spotfire Actions to take the snapshot and upload it into Google Drive. So going into the demo now, I could basically see how there's all sorts of statistics about a player. And if I click on a different player here, we see how Spotfire adaptively changes to their statistics. If I like what I see, I can go to the top right, I can approve a Spotfire action. And then inside of Google Drive now, I see that a new photo has emerged. It's called Jalen Duren Analysis. And we see that it looks just like the page that we were just on. And now it's been saved into a Google Drive folder that's easily shareable with other decision makers on the team. And I now have that insights done in Spotfire, and I've done Spotfire actions to make those insights easily available to others just with a click of a button.
Thank you, Heleen and Matteo. My name is Niklas Amberntsson, and I head up the product management team for Spotfire. I'm going to start by giving you a tour of what's new in Spotfire, followed by a view of our product direction. Obviously, it's nature of these types of session that it's forward-looking, so therefore the disclaimer. Spotfire is a self-service analytics platform for users that need to analyze data in order to take business decisions. Self-service analytics means that business users at their own will can access, clean, enrich, and prepare data, visualize data, drill down into data, view data from different perspectives, and get help to analyze the data through automatic insights. They can also leverage advanced analytics with integrated data science. And importantly, they can do anything at any time. It's when you visualize data that you see that the data needs to be cleaned. And to know what you clean, you need to visualize it. In Spotfire, you can do it all at any time. Spotfire is immersive. Self-service analytics for users in the line of business is of key importance for organizations that need to take data-driven decisions to enable the end users, but also to relieve central IT teams from having to build every analysis and have them instead focus on more strategic initiatives. But not everyone who needs to make informed decisions are comfortable using analytics tools. Fortunately, Spotfire lets developers build analytic applications on top of Spotfire. These applications enable users to take their decisions using data without having to be particularly analytics savvy, perhaps not even thinking of themselves as using data, just doing their job. Developers can build applications using low-code and no-code application building capabilities in Spotfire, but they can also use APIs and extension points that allow turning Spotfire into an industry-specific analytics tool, even embedding and rebranding Spotfire if needed. And of course, to enable any kind of analytics and to make sure it is successfully deployed, Spotfire lets administrators and Center of Excellence users deploy, manage, and govern the platform, including all the content generated by the business. To help them, Spotfire provides cloud-native deployment and administration, user governance and usage tracking, and of course, systems monitoring, through standard interfaces. So Spotfire is truly a full spectrum analytics platform, and it's used by our customers in all analytics use cases, ranging from data preparation, self-service visual analytics, through dashboards, reports, analytic applications, data science, and mobile BI for people on the go. And Spotfire does this for all types of data: static data, real-time data, in memory, in database, and in any combination. Now, let's take a look at what's new from Spotfire 12 and later. Spotfire has always been about what humans can do with data. And we always focused on enabling line of business users to do their own analytics on their own data to allow them the freedom of their own analysis, but also to free up time for the central BI team for them to focus on more strategic topics. This led us to the immersive visual analytics user experience that Spotfire has become known for, where users manipulate the data and view the data directly by manipulating it with point and click and drag and drop. So you work with the data where you see it in the visualizations. Or if it's more suitable for the task at hand, you switch to view the data in the data canvas and you work with it with a pipeline perspective of the data instead. So recent updates in the self-service analytics space. We have over the last few years added many new specialized visualizations that target specific use cases, in some case industry or process-specific ways of visualizing the data. And the recent additions in this space is the ternary plot for visualization of composition of 3 variables, which is useful, for example, in chemistry, the Pareto chart to highlight the most significant factors contributing to a situation, as well as the timeline and tag charts. We also added a very highly voted ID, the horizontal legend. And we added, most recently here, we added library favorites. Library favorites is a great new improvement for users that makes it easier to find commonly used analyses, data sources, data functions, etc. Any library item can be marked as a favorite, as a user's personal favorite, that is. And it's easily found from the library start page or directly from within the analytics experience. And it's available both in the web browser client and in the installed application. Apart from self-service visual analytics, Spotfire is also known for strong data science capabilities. The user experience for visual analytics and data science in Spotfire is unified with the ability to tune the parameters of the data functions and seeing how it affects the visualizations without leaving the visualization for a second. And you have a graphical view of the data functions configuration in the data canvas. And we are continuously adding new data functions in the Spotfire data function library to make it easier for any user to leverage different types of data science in their analysis. A very new capability in the data science integration space is the Spotfire service for R. This is a new service in the Spotfire service topology that allows you to run Spotfire data functions written in open source R. It works just as other Spotfire services, like the web player service, the automation service, or the Python service for that part, meaning that it's an integrated part of the Spotfire system where the users authenticate towards the Spotfire server, and then the admin just manages the open source R service like any of the other Spotfire services. Another recent data science improvement is that Python data functions are now faster. We have improved the performance of the execution of Python data functions, and dependent on the characteristics of the data function, the improvement ranges from noticeable to remarkable. The graph shows the execution time in seconds for measurements for various data functions that we've tested. And of course, we'd like insights found using Spotfire to lead to decisions and actions. This has been the case always in the general sense that knowing about an opportunity or threat is required in order to be able to address it. But we have recently focused on making it easier to ensure that insights leads to actions at large scale by enabling users to trigger actions in more than 200 business systems directly from the visualizations. Users presented with a dashboard can now act directly from the visualizations to lower the threshold to take action on the insight. This allows BI to expand into operational use cases with Spotfire acting as the decision and control hub for your business process, thereby enabling more data-driven decision-making. Some news in this area are the type checking and input value range validation when prompting users for input when triggering actions. But you can also close the loop to evaluate the effectiveness of your analytics through Spotfire's comprehensive user action logging that now also covers the built-in actions. So you can see what dashboards and even the individual visualizations that lead to the users taking action to truly understand how impactful your analytics are. And enterprise scalability in all its aspects is really important for Spotfire because Spotfire is used by many truly large companies, some deploying Spotfire to 100,000 end users that all use Spotfire in some way in the daily work. This fact has led us to prioritize large-scale deployment aspects such as security, governance, monitoring, and to prioritize strong customization capabilities, since all enterprises have their individual needs. And the recent updates in the enterprise space is cloud-native deployment and administration using containers, Kubernetes, and industry standards, automatic and independent scaling of all Spotfire services, such as the web player, the automation service, the Python service, in order to be able to respond to peak loads, but also to save the cost by scaling down when possible. And for users that standardize on typical data virtualization as the data layer, Spotfire now provides seamless integration with TDV, supported by OAuth 2, OIDC authentication, and authorization. All web player services are now also tested and supported on 3 Linux operating systems: Debian, Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9, and Ubuntu. So, what's next? Spotfire's strategic direction has 4 major areas, and I'll speak more about all of these, but as an introduction, for the business users and analysts that need self-service visualization, we plan to continue enhancing self-service visual analytics, involving both the modernization of the overall user experience, but also the addition of new features. For engineers, researchers, analysts, and data scientists, we'll make it easier to build data preparation and data science workflows through the point-and-click composition of data pipelines in synchronization with immersive visual analytics. We want Spotfire to be much easier to use and with stronger visualization capabilities than the common data science and stat tools, but at the same time more powerful in the analytics side than the common BI tools. For the developers of analytics applications and their information consumers, we continue to enhance the ability for developers to build powerful and user-friendly analytic applications at a fraction of the cost of custom development and still much more powerful and easier to use than with traditional BI and analytic tools. For the IT and Center of Excellence team, the analytics catalog will make it easy for information consumers to find and discover analytic assets, and for the Center of Excellence team to see which data or analysis is used the most. So let's now review these areas and the steps we plan to take in each respective area. If we start with self-service visual analytics, in this area, we're planning to modernize the visual analytics user experience and make it all available in the web client. We plan to make it easier for new users to get started, make it easier and faster to do what you want, help you find insights in your data, and not the least, we will add new visualization options requested by users through the ID portal. And as I said, it will not require an installation. It's all available in the web browser to make it easier and to lower the cost to deploy to users in a large organization. But that does not mean that the installed application will go away. It will still be available, and it will just be your choice as a user whether you want to run Spotfire from the web browser or from the installed application. One important part of the self-service analytics space is the all-web user interface. And a really important and central piece to this is the new visualization configuration user experience. This is planned to be easier to get started with for new users, but also provide some more powerful capabilities for experienced users, such as being able to configure multiple visualizations at the same time. We also plan to add new web-based data access and data preparation capabilities to enable self-service data wrangling for web client users. And finally, we also plan that the custom expressions editor will be redesigned to make it easier to use for new users, yet more powerful and available in both the installed application and the web client. And while modernizing the user interface, we also plan to add new visualization capabilities requested through the ID portal. For example, we plan to make the KPI chart formatting more flexible so you can control how it scales and the size of the text in more detail. So examples of what you can do is to show very large number of KPIs on a limited space, or making the KPI values bigger or changing the position of the sparkline, for example. This will make the KPI chart more versatile, so it can be used in more context and even easier to use on mobile phones. And one of the most requested IDs is actually for formatted export of tables to Excel. We plan to provide what you see is what you get export to Excel capability for the cross table, for the regular table, and for the graphical table. The idea is that when you export the table, the coloring, the formatting, and the layout of the table in Spotfire is retained in the Excel sheet when you export it. This enables users to further share and leverage the results and insights they got from Spotfire in other environments. And for users with location analytics use cases, such as in transportation and natural resources, the custom marker shapes for maps is a frequently requested enhancement. It makes it easier to interpret maps when there are several categories of markers visualized on the same map. You can visualize boats, trucks, houses, factories, wind turbines, etc. in the best way possible. In addition, we will also provide the ability to use these custom shapes in graphical tables and in scatter plots for further customization and branding of visualizations in Spotfire. But we do not want to stop at traditional self-service visual analytics, but build further on Spotfire's strengths in data science and take these to the next level by providing a truly integrated visual analytics and data science solution. This is to serve the needs of engineers, of scientists and analysts who need to use statistics and machine learning for classification, for anomaly detection, for forecasting, and so on easily. We started on this path by making a library of data functions available, so giving them a more visible place in the user interface and making it easier to work with existing data functions from the Spotfire library, which is a path we will continue on. But we think we can also make it easier to build flows consisting of data preparation, statistics, and so on by adding a data flow perspective for authoring of the data pipeline. For developers of data science, we plan to help them being more productive by making it easier to develop R and Python-based data functions in a full-blown integrated development environment that also provides debugging capabilities. And as I mentioned, we'll continue to provide building blocks, data science and data preparation building blocks to make it easier for users to build these data flows. The blocks will cover different areas such as data preparation functions for transforming, for cleaning and organizing the data to make data preparation easier and faster in general. There will be functions for building models for prediction and for scoring data using such models. And we will provide clustering, time series analysis, and anomaly detection, all in order to enable point and click composition of data flows using data science as part of the flow. And an important part of this is what we call the graphical data flow editor. We think of the graphical data flow editor as an extension to the current data canvas. You'll be able to see flows of data transformations, joins, unions, data functions, etc. in one place. We want to enable analysts to design visual data pipelines from the data connection to the data visualizations by adding operations in sequence, step by step. We want it to be easy for users to control and understand precisely what operations are made on the data and in what order. We also plan to make these data flows reusable so that the data flow can be stored and maintained in the Spotfire library and feed data to many Spotfire analyses, or even output the data into a database for any usage outside Spotfire even. And on the analytics application space, for the developers of analytic applications and their information consumers, a strong point for Spotfire is the powerful and user-friendly analytic apps that you can build at a fraction of the cost of custom development. We plan to further enhance the ability to customize Spotfire to enable industry and process-specific analytics tools built on top of Spotfire. For example, such that you could create reusable guides for very specific use cases, like, for example, analyzing wafer defects in semiconductor manufacturing, predictive maintenance for aircrafts, or statistical process control for various kinds of manufacturing, fraud detection in insurance, etc. The intention is that you can make it easy for the end user to perform analytic tasks that might have taken hundreds of steps if you did it using the standard user interface. But with the guided workflows, you can group and automate many of these steps and provide a user-friendly user experience. Also, we want our customers to be able to act on insights directly from the visualizations. As you may know, in Spotfire 12, we made the first move in the space by enabling users to trigger actions in business systems directly from the visualizations in Spotfire. There is also another more general element to this, which is related to the look and feel and the UI options that are available to developers. We'll make it easier to build good-looking applications that work better on different screen sizes and use the available screen space more efficiently. And to dive a little bit deeper into one aspect of application building, namely actions. Actions can be seen as building blocks in guided workflows, but they can also be configured on their own in a Spotfire analysis. So some of the related improvements we are planning are to introduce script mods. So these are easily shareable and reusable script components that automate analytic tasks. So script mods follow the same development principles as the visualization mods, with external source code control, modern integrated development environment with syntax highlighting, code completion, and live debugging in Spotfire. And script mods will be able to use Spotfire's comprehensive automation API to be able to manipulate the Spotfire analysis in order to implement analytic tasks and automate analytic tasks using the script mods. We also want to unify the actions concept so that any type of actions, whether it's a script, whether it's an external action, a native action, or a data function, can be run from any action trigger, from the visualizations, from the floating buttons, the KPI tiles, etc., from the text areas buttons and links, to the application events like when a document property is updated, or in the future when the data changes. We are also looking into the ability to run multiple actions from a single trigger, like when the user clicks in a visualization and triggers an external action that writes to a database, followed by an automatic data refresh. And moving on to the governance, discoverability, and manageability side of things for enterprise deployments. Spotfire is used by really large enterprises, and at these large enterprises, the size of deployments and the big number of users is a significant challenge in itself. especially when adding self-service and you have thousands of users that are creating their own content. They are copying each other's content and adding data from data sources that's not managed by IT, etc. Then governance and serviceability and monitoring of the system is of key importance. The first initiative we have in this space is the analytics catalog. And some of the challenges that we are planning to address are how to make it easier for end users to find the content that they need, and how to make it easier for them to know that they found the right thing, to trust the information. Secondly, we also want to address how to make it easier for the Center of Excellence or the analytic leads to understand the usage of data sources, dashboards, and other assets in the organizations. This means that we plan for the Center of Excellence team to be able to promote analytics content to end users more easily. And as an example, we want to make it easier for the Center of Excellence to understand if a business user created analysis have grown in popularity and actually have become business critical and needs to be reviewed and approved. In order to support integrations with other systems and automated workflows, we also plan to provide library REST APIs for basic asset management, like uploading, downloading items to and from the Spotfire library, but also for listing library items metadata. Secondly, on the administration side of things, we want to make it easier for IT personnel to integrate the deployed Spotfire system with other external systems for better and centralized observability, such as monitoring and logging, security, such as authentication, authorization, and so on. And our strategy is to support integration using standard interfaces and Cloud Native Computing Foundation graduated projects for easier and quicker integration with best-in-breed cloud native components. Also, to support the diverse needs of our enterprise customer, Spotfire is a cloud-agnostic tool that you can deploy anywhere in any cloud platform, on-premises or hybrid cloud, and that you can integrate with industry standard governance tools and interfaces. Let's have a closer look into the library views capability, which is part of the analytics catalog. We think of this as a way of creating personalized start pages or customizable start pages for user. This can, for example, be used to promote new data sources or dashboards for end users, or it can be used to configure specific administrative views that lets the Center of Excellence monitor the state of the Spotfire library, such as what are the analyses that haven't been used for a long time. So think of library view as a landing page with a number of custom sections. The content of each section can be defined independently and could, for example, contain analyses that have a certain keyword attached to them, or the latest updated analyses from a list of key users that I want to follow, or library items that have not been used in the last few months. So that is a summary of our planned direction for Spotfire. So now, if we speak a bit about Spotfire releases, I wanted to take this opportunity to tell you about the change in our release planning. So first, I'm sure that some of you are aware that we do many Spotfire releases every year. Most of them are so-called mainstream releases that are used by those that want to be on the latest and greatest Spotfire functionality at any time, and who are able to upgrade their Spotfire systems frequently. But many of our larger customers are on the long-term support track of releases. The LTS releases are typically supported for 2 years with service packs. And what I wanted to share is that from now on, we plan to have LTS releases in September every year. And this is also something we have updated on our documentation side, as you can see on the screen here. And before I end, I wanted to make sure that you're all aware of the ID portal. The ID portal allows you to share your product IDs and enhancements requests directly with the Spotfire product management team. And you can also vote on IDs submitted by other users. We do take your input very seriously, and we have implemented so far 6 out of the 10 highest voted IDs, and we have plans for more, as you can see on the status here. The ID portal allows you to track the status of your IDs. For example, you can filter on ID status and see what IDs are planned to be implemented, likely to be implemented, etc. And of course, the product is popular and the number of IDs is growing faster than we can implement them. So we cannot promise to implement every ID. But this is why it's so important that you vote for IDs that you prioritize. This makes sure that the most liked IDs rise to the top and become more visible. In the product management team, we review IDs and we manage the status of IDs. We try to merge IDs that are similar, etc. And we update the status when we plan to implement an ID and when it has been implemented. If you should identify IDs that we have not merged that you think we should merge, or if we even miss to update the status on an ID, please make a comment on ID portal and we will see that and respond. By voting on an ID, you will also get notified when its status changes. And be sure to use your company email address. Apart from the number of votes, we also consider the number of unique companies that voted, which is why it's important that you don't use private email like Gmail or Hotmail when voting on IDs on the ID portal. So thank you for attending, and I hope you're excited about the new capabilities we're planning in Spotfire. Reach out to us in Spotfire Product Management if you want to discuss your needs and use cases and how Spotfire can support them even better. Also, thanks for joining the Analytics Forum. We hope you have a great event and hope to see you soon.
Hello, my name is Athir Al-Hattar, a data scientist at Spotfire. I would like to invite you to TAF 23 Hackathon, where you can showcase your analytical skills and unleash your creative problem-solving abilities using Spotfire. This is not just a competition, it's a chance to contribute to real-world challenges and make a tangible difference. To give a historical view, in 1854, there was an outbreak of cholera in London. And then the physician John Snow solved this problem by looking at the data and then geospatially analyzing that, concluding that the problem was from the hand pumps installed on the street instead of the water providing company. And this was an early beginning of using the geospatial data in solving day-to-day problems. Fast forwarding to the future, Houston is a city known for its diversity and vibrancy. It's facing a pressing challenge, food deserts, and many communities lack access to fresh and healthy and affordable food options. But together we can change that. This year's challenge is mapping the food deserts in Houston, Texas, to aid the policymakers in helping their local communities. Not only you will have the opportunity to make positive impact, but you'll have a chance to win exciting awards and prizes. We believe in recognizing and celebrating brilliant minds that bring transformative change. The hackathon will be on the 21st of September, which will be the last day of the Analytics Forum and last 24 hours. There are eligibility requirements which will be shared soon, and a community page has been created for the information resources and to address all the participant questions and team forming questions. Each participant or team will have access to an instance of Spotfire that will have a copy of the data for the hackathon and all the required logistics also. After submitting your creation, a panel of expert judges will determine the winners who will be awarded the prizes. To register for the hackathon, just simply search TAF 23 in our community website and make sure you check the box during the registration. You will be emailed all the details on how to access the hackathon instances and other logistics. Good luck, and let's unleash our creativity for good cause.